Hi, my name's Alyssa and I'm Brightly's Low Waste Lifestyle Expert. If you're into sustainability, subscribe down below, become a change maker, but other than that, let's get started. So today we are talking about all things cleaning. Might not be my favorite activity, but it is an essential activity. And I have some great eco tips on how to make it more sustainable, plus throwing in product recommendations in there as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, in this routine, you're going to definitely see that I am not perfect. So I am including all types of things that I use, whether they're sustainable or not, so that you know you don't have to be perfectly sustainable to have a more eco-friendly cleaning routine or lifestyle in general. So let's just start off with some imperfectness right away, shall we? So one thing I always carry with me is this huge plastic bottle. I always have one. And the reason I always have one is because I have pets. And I don't like to use gentle cleaners on the things that come out of them, okay? If something comes out of a pet, I want it gone. I want it off my floor, off my furniture, whatever it is, I don't want it there. So I use this tried and true spray. I have one for my birds and I have one for my dog. The only way I can try to make this a little bit more sustainable is buying the bigger bottles. So if you're ever buying something that is packaged in plastic, just try to buy the bigger bottle so that you have to buy it less often, and it's just overall a little less packaging waste over time. I don't do travel size bottles or anything like that. I buy the biggest one I can in that time, but I use one for my birds and I use a different one for my dogs. And along with that is paper towels. So typically I am using a Swedish dishcloth. But when it comes to pet waste, I am not using a Swedish dishcloth. I am using a paper towel. Now there are things like Real Paper who sell really awesome, more sustainable, plastic-free bamboo paper towels. But I use paper towels so little often that it's not worth for me to go ahead and buy something like that online when I could just go up to my grocery store that I'm already at or my local Target, and that's really all I have around me. But if I go up to a place like that and just get a normal paper towel, I don't use them that often, just whenever there's pet waste or pet fluids on my floor. That is the only time those really get used. So yeah, I'm not perfect. I use paper towels. I have some plastic bottles. Just keep that in mind while you're watching this video. But back to my Swedish dishcloths. This is how mine kind of get, because I dry them funky. I dry them on uneven surfaces so they get kind of like crinkled up like this. But if you love these prints as much as I do, I mean, literally look at how cute these are. These were a hot seller. I mean, literally one of our best sellers in our August drop of the Brightly shop. These will be back in September thanks to you guys. So if you're wanting to snag these beautiful prints yourself, be ready for September 6th when the shop opens again. And it will be only open for 1 week. So it's a monthly drop. So the first Monday of every month, you will get a week-long window to shop the Brightly products. But besides that, these are great. I mean, also, I have used these how many times and there's no stainage on the back. I mean, these are dishwasher safe, helps get out those stains, keeps them pretty for longer. They definitely save me a lot of money over time. Plus, I just think they're so stinking cute. I absolutely love them. So they start off really stiff, but then you wet them and they kind of become like a paper towel, and they can absorb a lot times their weight. So they pick up pretty big spills for me, and these are just tried and true. To go along with that, let's dip into rags. So I have multiple types of rags in my home and recommendations for you depending on what you're looking for. So for really dirty things that I'm cutting up for things like the garage, maybe the bathroom, it is old t-shirts. So I do cut up really old t-shirts. Usually when I decide to do this, it's something that I don't think is gonna get sold if I donate it. So if it's like a personalized t-shirt, an old school shirt, a club shirt, something that I don't think anybody else would want to buy at a secondhand store or buy on Facebook Marketplace, I typically just cut up into rags, or something that's so torn I cannot donate it. But those are typically just used for really dirty instances, and sometimes they even have to get thrown away after their use, sadly, but it is the truth if I'm using them for really dirty things. But other than that, I do use standard rags. I mean old rags that you can't even remember where they came from rags. Use those. If you don't have rags, highly recommend them. I'm pretty sure most people have rags, but if you don't, definitely a good swap. And then a little more controversial one, and that is having a microfiber cloth. So there is plastic in microfiber cloths. I have this one for I don't even know how long, but if I'm being honest, I have recently gotten more. I've gotten 2 more since I've gotten this one, for like forever ago. I don't even know how long I've had this one. But what's great about these is that I try to buy ones that specifically say they really weave tight together so that less microplastics shed when I wash them. And that's a big concern. A lot of people just don't buy microfiber cloths because they shed microplastics when you wash them. But here's the thing, these are actually almost become an essential part of my cleaning routine. I think they clean way better than most cloths, any other kind of paper towel, Swedish dishcloth for certain situations, for dusty shelves, things like that, things that are high up. I always use these. I mean, I really don't want to use anything else. I don't think it cleans as well. Also, there's certain things that I want to dry with a microfiber cloth so that I get less streaks, things like that. These just have become an everyday item for me. So how do I avoid the microplastics? Well, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can do things like Cora balls, which catch microfibers. You can also do something like a guppy bag, where it's a special bag you can put this in so that it sheds less microplastics. Also, make sure you're washing on cold. But my favorite way to do this is a lot of those microplastics shed by it knocking around all that agitation on these cloths. So that there's less of that, I instead set this aside with the items I have to hand wash. So when I do all my hand washing, I hand wash these too. It just makes things a lot easier for me. It's a quick way to wash something, and it's less microplastics being knocked off of these because it's a more gentle wash because it's just my hands. But if that is not your thing, if you're thinking, I want to avoid microplastics altogether, it's one of my goals to reduce plastic as much as possible, and I really don't want a microfiber cloth, you can also do a natural material like hemp. So this is a cloth by Enact, and it is 55% hemp and 45% organic cotton. So no plastic here. So you can buy natural materials that you don't have to worry about shedding microplastics. Now we're just gonna go in a random order. I mean, there's no order anymore. So let's dive into what this is. So I have talked about this on this channel before and on our TikTok, I think on our Instagram too. But what this is this is a lint and pill remover. So this is mostly made for clothing, to get the little pills or the lint off your clothing before you go out, before you wear it. But what nobody tells you is this is also great on furniture. You just give it a couple glides. Be careful for sure because it is your furniture. You don't want any snags or anything like that. But if you give it some gentle glides, I have an older, clothier couch. I mean, these things are not new by any means. So they do get pilling on them. So this is great for that. Also, I don't have it by me, but pro tip, if you have fuzzy rugs in your home, which I do because I have hard floors and I want it to feel a little more homey, a little more comfortable in some places. So we have some fuzzy rugs, and if you have those, use one of your dog brushes if you have a hairy dog. If you don't have a dog, then you can go purchase one. They're very cheap, but they're little dog brushes with really tight bristles, and if you brush your rugs with that, they look like they're brand new. It's an amazing tip. I definitely recommend doing it. Plus, it's something you might already have in your home. Even better bonus. All right, let's get into cleaners. So my all-time top #1 favorite is the all-purpose cleaner from Clean Coat. I use the orange kind of zesty one because I think it just smells the most right. I think it smells very clean, like I use like cleaner, like something kind of citrusy. I feel like the cleaners I used to be kind of citrusy scented, so I like that it's familiar. But this stuff, it was great. It lasts a decent amount of time. And I know I refilled this once all the way to the top when I first got it. So these come with cartons with a plant-based cap, which is really cool. And then the cartons, instead of recycling them in your own curbside recycling, you can actually send them back to Clean Coat so that they can recycle them themselves. You know where it's going, they know how to break it down, and they will reuse it for you. But anyways, when I first got my carton, I refilled it up, and I still had enough in that carton for like almost a whole nother refill. I mean, you basically get 2 refills out of each carton, and they're $9.99. I mean, the spritzer is great. I'll give it 1. Oh, there it is. Yep, you got the spritz. It's got the closings on it. If you have kids around, you can turn it off so that it doesn't spritz. I like the bottle. I think it's beautiful. I think it's nice. It's heavy duty. I will keep refilling this forever. I don't see why it would break for any reason. It's got this nice silicone sleeve as some protection. This is an all-purpose cleaner and I take that seriously. I mean, I use this stuff everywhere, the bathroom, the kitchen, the living rooms, the bedrooms. I've even used this in the interior of my car and it worked fantastically. But this is my holy grail. Like if I'm gonna recommend anything from this video, it's going to be this cleaner because I just use it religiously. I mean, I don't even know why. I mean, it works well, it smells great, they have other scents as well, and I love their sustainability features. So overall, I love this. And if you're curious about more of Clean Cold's product, I did do a full review of all of their products. I will go ahead and link that down below so you can learn all about them. But this is like an everydayer. I mean, I love this stuff. Next is a little DIY concoction. So this is really cool. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but this actually says Clorox on here. This is something I got from the antique store. It's like an old Clorox bottle. I just thought it was the coolest because obviously I'm not putting Clorox in here, so I thought it was kind of ironic. Fun for DIY cleaners. Also, I used to buy Clorox stuff, so it's kind of like, oh, look at me, like I'm no longer buying Clorox and I'm making my own cleaners, but it's in this antique bottle. Anyways, enough of me nerding out over this bottle. This smells amazing and most of it is vinegar. And that's because I finished some oranges. I soaked those orange peels in vinegar for I think about 3 weeks. And then I strained those into here and I did that multiple times with a big batch of oranges. And this is what I turned out with, like a whole bottle of cleaner. This is an all-purpose cleaner as well, I would consider. I like to use this more in the bathrooms. I don't like to use this on special surfaces, things like granite, things like wood. I just kind of use this on my basic everyday surfaces. But I think this is great because it was so stinking cheap. I mean, the bottle of white distilled vinegar was like 89 cents, I think, and for that little bottle, and it did all this, so that's fantastic. I mean, that's a great price for a cleaner because of the oranges I was already buying anyways. So yes, love that DIY, highly recommend it. It's so cheap, it's so good, and if you want a full tutorial on that, let me know and I can do that for you. And now, how I scrub everything down. Oh, I shouldn't have thrown those. I shouldn't have thrown those, that was a lot of work. So the first thing I like to use when I'm really scrubbing things is a loofah, because I'm not even gonna tell you where I get this from, because you can find these in so many different places. I get them from a different place all the time. Just whenever I see them, I pick them up if I can or if I need one. But this is the plant, a loofah plant, and it's really stiff, kind of like the Swedish dishcloths until they get wet. Then it's a little softer and you can like scrub away at it. It holds cleaners very well. It holds soap pretty well. So I use these to scrub down. Also, classically, an old toothbrush. So I always keep around my old toothbrushes so that I can get into little crevices with them. And then also these sets from Squishful. So I will put up a video of how these work because these are so stinking awesome. And if you're interested in Squishful, they will be in the Brightly shop in September. So they will be in their September drop. Super exciting. It's September 6th. So here are these sponges. I'll show you these ones because they haven't been used yet. So these start off really skinny until you wet them, and then they're nice and plump. So they're really fun once you get them. I also think they're a fun gift because of that. If you know somebody who really loves cleaning or just household items in your life, I know I love receiving household items as gifts. So I think they're really fun in that sense. And they just work like a regular sponge and they're compostable. I really like them. But this one is extra special because this side is kind of like a loofah, and then this side is that compostable sponge. And I'll try to get you a better look at this. This is the loofah side. We also got a little string over here. And I think this one is the coolest because I can really scrub, 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 and then I can flip it around and just kind of wipe down a little more gently. I really like this one. And then let's talk about finishing touches because I consider finishing touches part of cleaning. So first, my all-time favorite room mist right now is the Zoom Mist. So it's not perfect, it is packaged in plastic, but the reason why I like it is because it's made in Kansas City, Missouri, which is really close to me, so I like supporting local things, and I got this at a local shop. This is actually my second bottle of this. I went through a bottle of this before already, and this is the Sandalwood Citrus. I think it's a nice gender-neutral scent, and there are men that live in this home, so I like to keep things gender-neutral. But clean ingredients, great spritz, smells so good, and the smell sticks around for a little bit, which I really appreciate that it doesn't just like disappear after you spray it. And then to top it all off is my rechargeable lighter. You can get these in so many different places, but I love this one a lot because I like to light a candle when I'm done. So yeah, love a good rechargeable lighter because I wasn't a person who loved composting all those matches because I do use candles like a lot. So it seemed a little wasteful to keep doing the matches thing, but I opted for this and I absolutely love it. So that is all for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something new. And if you did, leave us a like down below, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.